Hello, everyone. This is John Landers from Team Ames, the Big Apple Indie Music Series. And I'm here today talking with uh, Daisy Jopling, who actually performed for us back in May 13th of 2013 at the Gibson Guitar Studios in New York City. Daisy, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for everything you do, John.
I appreciate that. So, going back, if you can remember, what was your impression or your experience with performing for our showcase back then?
Yeah, that was a while ago, 11 years ago. I think it's awesome that you're giving these opportunities. I just remember that I don't really remember specifically what came out of it. I just remember it felt like a great opportunity. It was awesome to be able to do this performance. And yeah, I'm grateful for it.
Awesome. So, when did you first realize that music was your calling?
Well, I did start playing the violin when I was 3 years old. And apparently, when I was three, I mean, I don't remember this, but apparently, I said to my mum every day, I want to play the violin, like my Aunt Louise. So, my aunt was my godmother. I'm still incredibly close with her. She's like
Hmm.
my lifelong mentor. And my mum said she gave me, like, I don't know, she strung some rubber bands around the tissue box and was like, let's see if she's serious. I don't know. Apparently, I was serious. I don't really remember that, but I do remember when I was 19, I was at the Royal College of Music, and my brother came to live in the same apartment that I was living in London, and noticed that I wasn't really practicing, and I was into a lot of stuff. Like I was doing
Hmm.
courses in, economics and philosophy and massage and, macrobiotic eating and all kinds of stuff. But he kind of said, I think you should decide if you really want to be a musician or maybe do something else. And I
Hmm.
took 3 days and really went deep and really kind of meditated on that question and decided I want to become a musician. So it was when I
Awesome.
was 19 that I really made that. And, it made a massive difference. I was at the Royal College of Music before the decision, playing in like the college orchestra at the back of the second violins. But after the decision, I got a new teacher, and 6 months later, I was made the, concert master of the college orchestra, the Royal College of Music Orchestra. So obviously, that deep inner decision made a big difference.
Nice. Nice. So, who are your influences in the music that you do?
Of course, I mean, I've been a professional musician now for 34 years. So I have like incredible lot of big influences. When I was a kid, Nigel Kennedy was probably one of my biggest influences. He was like this punk. I don't know if you know Nigel Kennedy. He's a big name in England and Europe, but
Hmm.
he was like one of the first classically trained, amazing classical, violinist, solo violinist, who started wearing like a punk haircut and, torn jeans in his concerts and playing jazz and improvising. And, as a classical violinist, that was really unheard of. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So he was probably one of my biggest influences growing up. But so were all the violinists. I listened to Yasha Heifetz all the time, Fritz Kreisler. I mean, all these guys. Um, but recently, like last year, I had two really big influences. I was in India working with Bollywood star Kailash Kher, who's a mega star there, and
Hmm.
that was deep. I mean, completely changed my life working with him. The year before, I was in Egypt working with some mega stars, Egyptian musicians. That also changed my life. So, every year I'm getting new influences, and yeah.
So, what have been your challenges in getting yourself into the music career when you started? What did you find as challenging back then?
When I first started, I was in London and I really wanted to be in a chamber music group. So for anybody who knows, like, I was trained totally classically, so I didn't imagine I could play anything apart from classical music. That
Hmm.
was in my family. We were only allowed to listen to classical music. Like that was my whole world. So
Yeah.
I wasn't in a position to even consider that I could do something else. I mean, back then, most classical musicians, well, I don't know a single one who was earning a living from doing some other kind of music. So I
Hmm.
wanted to be a chamber musician, and that was thought of as kind of impossible to really live from that in London. So what was interesting, so it was definitely a challenge to kind of pursue my dream. Everybody's telling me that's never going to work. But it was interesting because, I know one of your questions is how to make things happen, and definitely it's kind of a letting go. I mean, things always come from left field, right? Our dreams always come true from the place we never expected. And I had a friend who said, come to Vienna, Austria for a week. I'm studying here. It's awesome. Come and have some lessons. I went off to Vienna, and in Vienna, I met a couple other musicians, and we formed a string trio. I stayed like a few months there in the end, and we got signed to BMG, and we were together for 13 years touring around the world. So I ended up doing my chamber music, but in Austria, in Vienna, because they had like you know real like kind of basically compared to London, they really supported musicians,
Hmm. I noticed too, because I mean, I think you were one of the first artists in violin that actually was doing some rock stuff with a violin back then. Because I was the first time I had experienced that, and I thought, wow, this is kind of
Nice.
cool.
I'm glad. I mean, I still, even now, there's so many. I mean, my God, all these years later, there are tons of violinists, really creative, doing interesting things. But people still, a lot of the general public still is like, wow, I didn't know violin could do that. I didn't know I could go to a violin concert and think it's one of the best concerts I've ever been to. People still have this
Yeah.
idea that violin is a certain way, maybe kind of more boring or whatever. So, yeah.
So yeah, and what is the most effective way you find you're able to market your music today?
Right now, I do use social media, and my forte, I have a pretty I do have a pretty wide audience, but probably more like my age, and Facebook even more than Instagram is like a big thing for me.
Huh.
Even though Instagram itself isn't like much bigger, but I would say social media, YouTube, LinkedIn as well, e-blasts, you know.
How do are you on any online radio networks? And if so, how do you get yourself on there? What's your approach?
I've actually got I'm just starting to record a new album, and I have a PR person, Eileen Shapiro, who's been working with all these online radio stations. So actually they're not playing my music now, but that's how I will be doing it when I release this album.
Uh, so I guess that comes to my next one. What are you working on
Yeah.
today with your music?
Yeah, so I've met, I mean, it's been interesting because um I guess you have this, John, as well, this real desire to give, musicians opportunities. And I have it as well. I mean, obviously I'm myself, but I've found it so inspirational to be able to give young people opportunities to, perform on major stages with me and my band. And
Hmm.
I've found this amazing 17-year-old. I guess he's a producer, makes amazing beats. I mean, whole tracks, it's not just a rhythm. It's like his music's beautiful and it sounds incredible with violin. So he and I are making an album together. He's called Leo Horton, and I believe he's going to be a big, big shot. And I've just found him, and we're having
Nice.
amazing fun creating this album together. So it might be like gradually recorded over this year and then released early next year. It might take a while, but anyway, it's like I'm loving working with him. It's such an inspiration. And the young people today, I feel their consciousness is so kind of high. I mean, the people I work
Hmm.
with, maybe they're just amazing people with, like, yeah, I know, it's amazing.
So what would you tell someone who wants to get into music right now for the first time? Well, how would you advise a person like that?
I mean, I always think that I really believe, because it has always worked out for me, even though, like probably most people in careers where they're entrepreneurs, where they're taking risks, there are definitely ups and definitely downs.
Yes.
But I would say if you have a desire, that desire is wanting you. In other words, if you've got a dream, then that dream is calling you. So if your dream is to become a musician, you'll make it. And it's kind of a very exciting time because you really can create your own model of how you want to be a musician in this world, which I think
Hmm.
is so awesome. Like, it's so exciting. It's very scary as well. And can be, yeah, all those things. But yeah, I think it's I mean, I still absolutely love my life, even though I've definitely been on ups and downs. And I feel very
Yes.
lucky that as a musician we have access to many different cultures. So for
Hmm.
example, for me personally, I'm very drawn to the Middle East right now. I've been doing like
Hmm.
this whole concert. I had an amazing time in India, but like especially in the Middle East, like playing in Egypt, the pyramids, obviously the pyramids. I did a big concert there in November 2022. It was so magnificent. But also I felt the creativity there is really interesting. um
Hmm.
really, really, I was gonna say turn me on. It's like the rhythmic, the melodic, um the creativity with the harmony. For me, it's kind of very exciting, possibly touches my soul more than some of, I don't know, the Western. But anyway, I just love the music out there. And maybe because I don't understand the lyrics, so I can just really enjoy the music and not realize that the lyrics are maybe a bit
I get
shallow.
that.
Who knows?
So, to finish this up, what would you like to share with everyone before we finish up on the interview? Anything you'd like to share right now? Anything new?
I still believe that, your dream is calling you. I really believe that. And,
Mhm.
that just general openness to where it's going to come from, realizing that it's all a miracle. And I just really wish everyone the best, and check out the Daisy Jopling Music Mentorship Foundation, because we do give, young artists opportunities to perform. We've performed Lincoln Center with tons of artists, young people, students of all ages, middle school, high school, and college, and even, starting off in the music business. Something I love to do is to give these young people opportunities. So
I
check
will
us out.
share that on when I post this, I'll put the
Yeah,
link on that for your site. That's good to know. Thanks so
yeah.
much for taking the time here, and
Thanks, John, for
thanks
everything
for
you do.
everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye.